With the Dell XPS 13 Plus, the company is playing with laptop expectations and taking a huge risk by doing so with an iconic name associated with some of the best ultrabooks. The XPS 13 Plus made a huge splash at CES earlier this year with its polarizing design, including a capacitive function row, an invisible touchpad, and a keyboard without visible space between the keys. Oh, and there's no headphone jack. Reader, I was shocked. The trade-off, Dell told the world, is that you're getting a 12th Gen Intel Core P-Series processor. But maybe I need to be more accepting of change. Having spent a fair bit of time with the souped-up XPS 13 Plus, not every choice was as wild as I thought. But while the Plus has the premium feel of an XPS device, it's occasionally clumsy and doesn't always line up with the experience I expect from Dell's flagship brand. Design. The Dell XPS 13 Plus is a beautiful object, with clean lines, a minimalist design, and surprising choices. As a computer, it's a bit more complicated. I could see this thing in the gift shop at the Museum of Modern Art. Previous XPS 13 laptops haven't seen massive changes. The Infinity Edge display with extremely narrow bezels has become iconic, alongside the soft touch carbon fiber palm rest and silver aluminum design. With the XPS 13 Plus, Dell is flipping all that on its head. All of this makes for something familiar, but also something that feels minimalist and fashionable. Speaking of minimalism, let's discuss the ports, both of them. You get a Thunderbolt 4 port over USB Type-C on each side. That's it. Getting just two USB-C or Thunderbolt ports and no USB ports isn't something too out of the ordinary at this point. But Dell also cut the headphone jack here, which still seems like a big deal on laptops and tablets. Yes, I have a pair of wireless headphones, but I go running for wired pair when they unexpectedly run out of battery. Productivity performance. Perhaps the big plus in the new XPS 13's name is that Dell has moved to a 28W 12th Gen Core P-Series chip from Intel, rather than the lower-powered U-Series designs. In our testing, the Core i7 1280p, paired with 16GB of RAM and a 512GB SSD in our review unit, was strong for quick tasks, but our stress testing revealed some surprises. On Geekbench 5, a CPU-heavy overall performance test, the XPS 13 Plus achieved a single-core score of 1,797 and a multi-core score of 10,621. The MacBook Air with M2, which doesn't use a fan, was ahead in single-core but behind in multi-core. The XPS 13 Plus beat the Lenovo Yoga 99 Gen 7, with its Core i7 1260p, by just a smidge in single-core, but the Yoga had a much lower multi-core score, which I imagine is due in part to the fact it has two fewer cores. We don't have a single-core score for the last gen XPS 13, but it had a multi-core score of 5,319. The XPS 13 Plus transferred 25GB of files at a rate of 1,502.11 Mbps, slightly behind the Yoga 9i. This is faster than the MacBook Air and a big jump over the last gen XPS 13. Display. The Dell XPS 13 Plus has a 13.4-inch, near borderless display with a 16:10 aspect ratio. We tested the OLED version, with a resolution of 3456 x 2160. To my eyes, the OLED screen is a delight. The blacks are deep. It gets plenty bright, and in our 4K test video, tiers of steel, neon pink and blue clothing stood out against green trees, while pink and green holograms stood out against black backgrounds. Details in the video's darkest scene, involving a sniper on a roof, were nice and crisp. The panel on the XPS Plus covers 84.2% of the DCI P3 color gamut and 119% of the sRGB color space, a solid improvement over the prior model XPS 13's OLED screen. Lenovo is also using an OLED display on the Yoga 9i, which outperformed the Dell, while the MacBook Air, without OLED, hit 75.9% on DCI P3 and covered 107% of sRGB. Keyboard and touchpad. The keyboard and touchpad are sure to be two of the most controversial choices that Dell has made on the XPS 13 Plus. In a radical redesign, the regular XPS 13's island-style keyboard has been replaced with keys that have no gaps between them. The function row has been replaced with capacitive touch buttons, and the touchpad with haptic feedback is effectively invisible. Thank you everyone for watching us till the end. It would be a great pleasure for us if you were a little help with this video. Comment us below.